Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're your shortcut to understanding the big topics, cutting through the noise. Today, we are diving deep into a sector that's, well, fundamentally changing how we think about our health. We're talking about the smart wearable medical devices market. And when I say changing, I mean it's growing incredibly fast. Just listen to these numbers. Back in 2021, the global market, valued at just over $5 billion. Okay, but by 2025, it's set to more than double. We're talking nearly $11 billion. And here's the kicker. By 2033, that number is forecasted to explode to over $51 billion.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a compound annual growth rate, what is it, around 21%, which firmly puts it among the fastest growing bits of medtech out there. To give you a sense of $51 billion, that's like the entire yearly GDP of, say, Croatia, all for medical devices you wear. It's a huge shift.
It really is. And it's not just, abstract numbers. There are real drivers behind this kind of explosive growth. It's fueled by a few key things coming together. You've got relentless innovation. These devices are getting so much smarter. Plus, strong user demand. People want more control over their health info. And honestly, a growing, very real need for remote patient monitoring.
Right.
So when we say smart wearable medical devices, we're not just talking step counters anymore. Think smartwatches, yeah, but with like FDA-cleared ECGs or continuous glucose monitors for managing diabetes, even tiny patches tracking vitals after surgery.
Okay.
These aren't just cool gadgets. They're becoming serious medical tools. They really empower both individuals and clinicians, too, giving them more continuous, data-driven ways to manage care.
That really is a powerful transformation. Okay, so we have this huge global picture of growth, but let's unpack that a bit. Where exactly is this incredible momentum concentrated? And, what can the regional differences tell us about where healthcare tech is heading locally? Maybe start with North America. Seems like they've been leading the charge.
Yeah, absolutely. North America has been consistently strong. Their market was already nearly $2 billion back in 2021, and it's projected to climb past $19 billion by 2033.
19 billion.
Exactly. That's roughly a tenfold increase in, just over a decade. Shows incredible momentum. And the U.S. really dominates within that region. It accounts for the lion's share of the growth. We're looking at the U.S. market going from over $1.6 billion to nearly $15.5 billion.
Wow.
It kind of speaks to a healthcare system that's increasingly embracing tech solutions, and also a population that's pretty keen on adopting these personal health tools.
So North America has a strong base, still leading, but it's not the only place this is happening, right? What's the story in Europe? Another big economic player?
Europe is definitely key. It's expanding quite a bit, too. From around 1.1 billion in 2021, projected to hit over 10.5 billion by 2033.
Okay, still significant growth.
Very significant. And what's interesting there is the landscape is quite varied. Germany, for example, really stands out. It's projected to grow to over 2.3 billion.
Yeah.
The UK isn't far behind that, set to reach nearly 1.5 billion. But we're seeing strong double-digit growth pretty much across the board. France,
Yeah.
Italy, Spain. Spain actually is quite remarkable. It's projected to see its market increase tenfold.
Tenfold.
Yeah, to over 900 million by 2033. It really highlights a broad adoption, probably driven by things like, aging populations and more awareness of chronic conditions.
Okay, so North America and Europe are major forces, but you mentioned innovation and adoption taking off elsewhere. Here's where it gets really interesting, I think. Let's talk Asia Pacific.
Absolutely. Asia Pacific is where the growth is accelerating the fastest globally. It's projected to soar from about 1.35 billion in 2021. Get this, to over $15 billion by 2033.
15 billion. That overtakes Europe.
It does. And China alone is expected to reach nearly 4.7 billion of that. But what's truly striking, I think, is India. India is outpacing many others with phenomenal growth. It's projected to climb from just over 217 million, quite small, to a massive $2.6 billion by 2033.
That's incredible growth. What's driving that in India specifically?
Well, India's story is fascinating. It's not just market size. It seems to be a convergence. You've got a very tech-savvy population, rising awareness of chronic diseases like diabetes, and even government initiatives pushing digital health. It really showcases how wearables can sort of bridge healthcare gaps, especially in emerging economies.
Interesting.
And Singapore also shows really significant acceleration. Japan, South Korea, Southeast Asia, generally all strong contributors too.
It really highlights how different factors drive growth in different places. But it's not just the absolute biggest economies showing this trend, right? Even regions starting smaller are seeing rapid acceleration. What about, say, South America?
South America is definitely expanding rapidly. The market there is growing from around $300 million in 2021
Yeah.
to over $3.2 billion by 2033.
All right.
Brazil is the largest market in the region, projected to reach nearly $1.3 billion. But what's also quite impressive is countries like Argentina and Chile. Both are expected to see their markets grow by more than tenfold.
Wow, again with a tenfold growth.
Yeah, it signals really broad and enthusiastic adoption across the continent.
Okay, let's shift focus again. The Middle East, often known for rapid development, investing heavily in modern tech. How's the wearable medical device market shaping up there?
The Middle East market is certainly on a strong upward path. It's rising from just over 200 million in 2021 to projected over 2.1 billion by 2033.
So another region crossing the billion-dollar mark.
Exactly. And this growth is largely fueled by countries like Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Turkey, all showing strong annual growth rates, above 21% typically. The UAE, for instance, is set to grow from just over 34 million to nearly 400 million by 2033.
Yeah.
That's likely driven by, well, big investments in healthcare infrastructure and also a generally younger, tech-savvy population that wants modern health solutions.
Makes sense. All right, let's complete the world tour. Africa. Starts from a smaller base, obviously, but is it also seeing that strong growth curve?
Absolutely. Don't let the smaller starting point fool you. Africa's market is expected to expand significantly.
Yeah.
From around $100 million in 2021, it's projected to cross the $1 billion mark, reaching over $1.1 billion by 2033.
Over a billion there, too. That's impressive.
It is, and this growth is supported across various countries. South Africa alone is projected to reach over 400 million by 2033. And you also see strong contributions from Nigeria and other nations across the continent. It's actually a really compelling example of how mobile health adoption can sometimes leapfrog traditional infrastructure,
Yeah.
bringing health monitoring to populations that maybe didn't have easy access before.
So bringing this all together, we've seen these incredible numbers, this growth everywhere. What does this really mean for you, the listener? It means these wearable devices are fundamentally redefining personal health care. Not just a future idea, but like right now, across the globe. We're talking everything from sophisticated preventive care, catching things early, to really precise management of chronic diseases. And it's all accessible from your wrist or a patch or something else close to your body.
The practical impact is just immense.
Yeah.
These devices are empowering both us as individuals and our clinicians too, giving everyone real-time data, actionable insights.
Yeah.
It fundamentally changes how health is managed.
Right.
It really shifts the whole model, doesn't it? From just reacting, going to the doctor when something feels wrong, to being much more proactive, more personalized about health management. It enables a more sort of continuous and informed approach to just staying well.
It's undeniable. The smart wearable medical devices market is clearly one of the most dynamic, most promising sectors in global health tech right now. The growth we're seeing, across every single region, nearly every country, it's just staggering.
It really is. And given this trajectory, this clear path forward, and the power of these devices for real-time data, for insights we can act on, it makes you wonder, how might our everyday interactions with healthcare change even more? Could remote monitoring become maybe the primary way we do checkups for many conditions? Moving beyond just managing problems to actually truly predicting and preventing issues before they get serious. It's a fascinating future to think about, isn't it? Healthcare always kind of with us, working quietly.
A powerful thought to end on. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to plunge right into complex topics, pull out the really vital insights from the sources, and basically give you a shortcut to being genuinely well-informed. Today, we're focusing on the smart wearable medical devices market. Our source material, it's excerpts from Smart Wearable Medical Devices Market, Decoding Health Tech's Future, which is a really fascinating market research discussion. So our mission here is to unpack this whole sector, figure out what's really critical, and understand how it's, well, more than just tech changing. It's fundamentally redefining health tech. And honestly, your personal well-being, it's like a window into where health is going.
Okay, so let's unpack this. What's really driving this market forward? What's the biggest push the research points to?
Yeah, okay. So the research, it really highlights this powerful societal shift. There's just a growing emphasis on preventive healthcare. People are being much more proactive now, and these devices.
They're empowering that.
How so, exactly?
Well, whether it's something common like a fitness band or, more specific things like ECG monitors, blood pressure wearables, they give individuals the power to track their health, basically in real time. That means catching things earlier, managing chronic conditions, maybe from your own home. It's a real shift in control directly to you.
Right, putting the power in the user's hands.
Exactly. And it's not just us, the consumers, doctors, insurers.
Hmm.
They're increasingly behind this too. They see the long-term savings, the better health outcomes. It just makes sense.
That proactive angle is clear. But unfortunately, there's another driver, maybe a less positive one, that's also pushing the need for these devices, right? The rise in chronic diseases.
Absolutely, yeah. That's a huge factor. We're seeing conditions like diabetes, hypertension, heart disease just becoming more widespread. And with that comes this undeniable need for continuous monitoring, for sharing data instantly with doctors. The insights from the material, they make it really clear these wearables are becoming essential tools, like truly essential for managing these conditions.
Especially for certain groups.
Right, particularly for, say, aging populations or even just people with more sedentary lifestyles.
Yeah.
They provide that constant data stream that honestly just wasn't available to most people even a few years back.
Okay, now something that really jumped out at me in the research was how these devices are getting smarter, not just tracking. This convergence of IoT, the Internet of Things, and AI in these devices.
Mhm.
What does that actually unlock? This is where it gets really interesting, I think.
Oh, definitely. This is fascinating because when you integrate intelligent algorithms, these connected networks, well, modern smart medical devices don't just gather raw data anymore, they analyze it.
Analyze it how? Like, what can they do?
Well, think about things like predictive health insights,
Mm.
maybe flagging a potential diabetic issue before you even feel symptoms, or remote diagnostics, your specialist, reviewing your heart data from miles away, almost in real time. Yeah, and it even goes into personalized recommendations sent right to you or your doctor. It's a huge leap forward, really interactive care. It's kind of a cornerstone of this whole global digital health transformation we're seeing. What's fascinating here is how that analysis turns just raw numbers into, well, actionable intelligence, real insights for your health.
Okay, so there's clearly strong momentum, lots of exciting stuff happening, but it can't all be smooth sailing. What are the big roadblocks? What challenges is the market hitting, according to the sources?
No, definitely not smooth sailing. A major one the research points to is cost. High cost and consequently limited accessibility.
Makes sense. These things aren't cheap.
Right. You've got advanced sensors, complex apps, high-tech materials. It all adds up in manufacturing. And that puts many of the really cutting-edge wearables out of reach for a lot of people,
Oh.
especially, in low and middle income areas. This
Mhm.
actually raises a pretty important question about equity, access to this health tech.
A digital health divide, potentially?
Exactly. Adoption is often restricted in places with tighter healthcare budgets or less insurance support. It's a real issue.
And tied into adoption, I'd guess, is trust, especially with the kind of data these things collect. Privacy and cybersecurity must be massive concerns for people, for our listeners too, I bet.
Oh, critical. Absolutely critical. The material really digs into the huge issues around how your sensitive health data is stored, how it's shared, or, the nightmare scenario getting breached. And the problem is kind of amplified because there aren't really uniform security standards across the whole industry yet.
So it's a bit of a patchwork.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
And that lack of consistency, that uncertainty, it can really discourage people from using these things, even if they could help. And it makes healthcare providers hesitant too, understandably.
Okay, so cost, access, privacy, what else? The research mentioned regulations. That sounds complicated.
It is. It really is. The sources describe just how complex it is navigating all the different constantly changing standards for getting these devices approved. And it varies so much from region to region.
Must be tough for smaller companies.
Overwhelming, especially for startups or smaller players. It takes a lot of resources, a lot of time. And the result? It slows down innovation. And more importantly, it delays access to potentially life-changing healthcare solutions for people who need them.
Right. So quite a few hurdles there. But despite all that, it still feels like this market is moving incredibly fast, finding creative ways forward. What are some of the really exciting trends pushing things along now?
Yeah, despite the challenges, the innovation is impressive. One huge trend is the surge in remote patient monitoring, RPM.
Ah, telehealth related.
Exactly. As telehealth booms, these wearables are becoming central, monitoring patients right from their homes. Think about after a hospital stay or during virtual doctor visits. If you connect this to the bigger picture,
Hmm.
it's really part of this fundamental shift in how healthcare is delivered.
There's
It's not going back.
a benefit.
Well, it helps cut down on hospital readmissions, which is massive. It improves patient engagement, keeps people involved in their own care, and it gives doctors this continuous flow of data for, hopefully, better decisions. It's becoming a key pillar of how modern healthcare works.
That's a really practical, impactful shift. And then there was this other fascinating trend mentioned, moving beyond just physical health towards mental and emotional well-being wearables.
That's right. And it's a really interesting development. The sources show that, consumers want more than just steps and sleep tracking now. There's this growing desire to understand stress levels, heart rate variability, even mood patterns.
So what kind of devices are we talking about?
We're seeing more devices that integrate things like guided breathing exercises or tools for emotional analytics, sophisticated sleep coaching. It shows this much broader, more holistic view of health taking hold. It opens up totally new ways to use wearable tech, really embracing that mental well-being aspect, which is so relevant to, well, everyone's daily life.
Absolutely. And the last trend that stood out was just how these things look and feel. The miniaturization, the design focus, they're getting smaller, sleeker, almost stylish.
Totally. It's a game changer for adoption. The research highlights how today's wearables aren't just smarter, they're designed to blend in.
Like what?
Well, think about smart rings that are barely noticeable, or these biometric skin patches you can just stick on subtly. These kinds of advancements remove that barrier of feeling like you're wearing a clunky medical device. They're not cumbersome or conspicuous anymore.
Which must broaden the appeal massively.
Hugely. It's expanding the market like crazy, making them attractive to younger people, sure, but also to older individuals, elderly patients, people who might have found older versions too intrusive or complicated.
So, what does this all mean for how these devices might just weave into your daily life moving forward? Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive, it feels really clear. The smart wearable medical devices market, it's way more than just another tech trend. It feels like a genuine revolution in healthcare.
Yeah.
It's helping us potentially live longer, monitor ourselves better, stay way more connected to our well-being than ever before.
Yeah. And it leaves you with a really interesting thought to ponder, right? As these smart wearables become almost seamless, like extensions of ourselves, constantly feeding us this data, what does that do to our own intuition, our intuitive sense of our own bodies? Will we still, feel our way through health, listen to those subtle internal cues, or will we start relying more and more on algorithms, on external data to tell us how we really feel and what we actually need?
It's a fascinating question for the future, isn't it?